You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio in high fidelity.
You are tuning in to a Goldilocks Productions presentation of the Quantum Path Radio Show with Dennis Anderson. Dennis is a psychic medium, a hypnotist, and spiritual teacher. He has had a gift to perceive the subtle energies from an early age, turning off the gift at the age of 20 to live life, love, and understand human behavior. To have it reawaken again during his late 30s due to a calling that was loud and needed to be answered, Dennis was urged by Spirit to learn more, grow more, and share his gifts that others can benefit by exploring their own unique abilities. Call in now if you would like to speak to Dennis. The call-in number is 713-955-0594. Press 1 so that you can get into the host queue.
Welcome, everyone, to my second episode of Quantum Path Radio. I'm very excited once again to be here today. I am nervous. I don't know why, but I'm feeling nervous. I'm feeling a little anxious, and maybe it's just because I got so many things that I do want to share with you, and I hope that you get some enjoyment out of this. I hope you get a little bit of knowledge as well, and I am very grateful for you guys to actually tune in today. I am, like I said, I am pumped. I'm just all in a tizzy right now. Let's put it this way. I'm vibrating in my chair. Maybe it's because I had too much coffee. I don't know, but whatever it is, let's put it this way. I am very excited today. So let's put it this way. Let's get some stuff out of the way here first. Once again, my name is Dennis Anderson, and feel free to connect with me on Facebook. I have my Facebook page, Dennis J. Anderson, and my website as well, DennisJAnderson.com. I am excited because of the fact that I am going to be introducing some new and interesting things here coming up. I'm going to be putting out, because I am a consulting hypnotist, and I'm been certified by the NGH, which is the National Guild of Hypnotists. So I'm giving them a little plug there, I guess you could say. Let's put it this way. I am going to be producing some, let's put it this way, some self-hypnosis type tapes or some audio downloads. Yes, there will be a slight charge, let's put it this way, but I am excited for it because I do have people that are very interested in it. And it's mainly because of the fact that when I facilitate, let's say, for example, a meditation or something like that. Like the other day, I was actually in Brampton, and I was running a aura sensing course and perceiving course, because I naturally do see auras myself, and I do believe that everybody has the gift to be able to see something, perceive something, whichever way it is that works for them. But anyway, I ran the ladies there through a meditation, and let's put it this way, they were feeling very vibratory, which was actually kind of cool. And that does happen, actually. Like when you start to connect to your higher self or to something that is much larger than you, what ends up happening is your energetic body is going to start to make some changes, and you're going to notice it physically within yourself too. So therefore, there is going to be, let's put it this way, possibly some vibrations or some numbness and whatever. A lot of people do seem to feel that type of, I guess you could say, energy kind of coming through. When they do, let's say, for example, like astral projection. Okay, that is actually a very common way to actually feel that vibration. It does come through that way. I used to astral project quite a bit when I was in my teenage years. And it was a wonderful feeling, actually, because let's face it, like you're flying through the air like Superman in a lot of ways. So it did make you feel very interested in, I guess you could say, in that aspect. But it was so real and it was so vivid, and it was a wonderful sort of experience, and it really opened up my eyes to many different things. So let's get a couple of things out of the way here first, and I see we already have a couple of callers already dialing in here, which is fantastic, and I'm very grateful for that. I just wanted to make mention, though, that I do have a couple of events coming up. I do have a psychic fair over in St. Catharines in Ontario, Canada, next week. From the July 14th, 15th, and 16th. Okay, so if you are in the area, or if you are curious, let's put it this way, there's a lot of other gifted people up there that are going to be vending there as well. So let's put it this way, there's lots of things there. There's crystals, there's going to be psychics, there's mediums, and of course, there's going to be me. I'm going to be the aura photographer guy, and that's something that as well, I'm very passionate about, because, like I said, I love energy, and life is all about energy, and maybe that's why I'm so nervous here today, or anxious, I guess you could say, because I have so much energy kind of built up right now. Also, as well, I'm going to also be at a couple of psychic development classes, I guess you could say, this coming week as well. So on July 12th, I will be at Happy Soul in Toronto, which is at 969 Bloor Street. The topic then, well, let's put it this way. I kind of leave it fairly open so that this way, like depending on the type of people that come through, whether they're beginner or intermediate or advanced even for that matter, I kind of have a tendency to, let's call it, I try to work with the people that are there, and I just kind of let spirit guide me in regards to how we're going to run the class. But I usually do a lot of interesting things, though, that kind of go along with it. I managed to pick up a couple of blindfolds. Actually, I ordered a couple in, and they're finally arrived, and they work really well. And it is one of those things that when I do my development classes, I like to take the visual out of things, and as much as possible, I like to try to take the auditory out of things as well. And what I mean by that is that I like to make certain that a person is not relying upon the subtle body language, visual cues, or anything like that of another person, so that they are in essence, connecting with spirit or with another person. Well, heaven knows they're spirit too, I guess you could say so. And that's one of the things, though, that I love doing with people, because let's put it this way, it almost, and the funny thing is, though, is that the accuracy level seems to rise when a person cannot perceive anything, or when they cannot see the other person. When they're going into a blind, it's almost as if they have to rely on something else deep within themselves. Okay, and that is the wonderful thing about this. And that is the key here. We are using that tool, even as simple as it is, to allow people to dig deeper into themselves. And that's what about psychic development is. It's about digging deep into who you are. Because when you perceive somebody, when you can truly connect to another person and see through their eyes and, in essence, kind of wear their shoes for a moment, what does it do? It changes your perspective of who you are and what is important to you. The judgment out. It takes the looking at somebody else and saying, and being critical. And that's the thing there. When you're as open and it takes I guess you could say there's the unconditional looking at somebody and being very, very connected that way. And it really is a blessing when you can actually do that. Just the other thing as well, the day after, on July 13th, I will be at the Breakthrough Center, which is in Brampton, at 2 Fisherman Drive, and that will be starting at 6:30. And the previous one at Happy Soul, I believe I'm starting at 7 o'clock on that one. So, like I said, if you are in the area, please feel free to come and join me. It is usually a very interesting and kind of a good time, let's put it that way. And you might be surprised what you can actually achieve, and that's the thing here. Everybody has a gift. Everybody has it within them. It's just a matter of how much practice you put in getting it out. Actually, I was noticing on Facebook earlier today that there was one lady, she called up, or I shouldn't say called up, but she had made a comment to say that, another psychic or another medium told her that, well, yeah, she's got maybe some intuition, but, she's not medium. And I'm kind of like, okay, that's very disturbing. I hate hearing things like that. We all have certain gifts, that come very readily and very easily to us. I've been practicing this since I was a child, really, and in essence I was. And some of the other psychics and mediums that I've seen out there, it's the same sort of thing, but we all have something born within us to be able to connect. And it's just up to us to reawaken that, to explore, to educate ourselves, and to have fun with this, because, hey, that's what life is about. And I could get into other things too, but maybe we will here as the hour goes on. But I see that I already have a first caller, and if Roz could bring out 802 for me, I would be much appreciative of that.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? And
Good, how are you?
Very good, thank you. And who am I talking to today?
Heidi.
Hi, Heidi.
Hi.
Hi, Heidi. Sorry, I'm sure you probably got a lot of jokes about that when you were a kid, right?
Oh, yes.
That's okay. I did too, actually, because let's put it this way. My name is obviously Dennis, and, you kept hearing Dennis the Menace and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, yeah. So what can I do for you today, Heidi? What's your question?
I guess my question is more about my finances. My husband has passed away, and he owned a bed and breakfast with his best friend, and we've been trying to sell it for well over a year now. So I guess it's just, do you see it selling sooner than later?
Okay. I am feeling that there is still some time yet here, but I do want to say that probably by the end of the year, something is going to happen where, yes, there is going to be a sale that is going to go through. But for some sort of reason, actually, the first thing that kind of pops into my head here is how it's being advertised. I know that there's usually, let's put it this way, like with the real estate market and stuff like that, it's kind of like, okay, you just list it and away you go. But it almost feels, though, as if you may have to branch out a little bit and kind of list it in another way. Okay, so in other words, it's kind of like appeal to the people that are interested in the bed and breakfast type market, I guess you could say, because it almost feels like you got to sort of sell it to or make them aware that it is on the market. You see what I mean? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the first year we had it listed with a realtor that really only showed it once. Our new realtor is very, very aggressive and is really advertising it as a bed and breakfast, as a single-family home with apartments.
Okay.
She's really branched out.
Okay. See, and that's the key there, because I think that was the thing that I was picking up on is that it really needs to be focused on that other aspect, okay, of the bed and breakfast aspect of the house. Okay, so that this way it's going to attract people, and I do feel that that's going to happen, but it does feel like it's going to be a little bit later on this year yet, and I don't know why. It just feels like there's something there that's, I don't want to say holding it back, but I do want to say it just feels like there's something there that needs to be either done or something like that to bring it out to light, I guess you could say, a little bit more. Okay?
All right.
Well, thank you very much, Heidi. You're very welcome. My pleasure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So, That was our first caller, and I'm very grateful for that one. And the other thing I just kind of wanted to mention, too, actually, when we work as psychics and mediums, okay, we kind of have to hold ourselves up, I guess you could say, to a grander or bigger code. I want to call it a code of ethics, okay? And that really is kind of, in essence, what it comes down to. It's a code of ethics that we have to prescribe to, and that we should try to follow as much as possible, okay? And there's a lot of, and like I have been seeing some things up there on Facebook, and actually and I'm not going to mention the person's name, but I did see this actually happen. And in essence, it kind of made me feel a little bit nauseous in some ways. Because what ended up happening is one of our codes, I guess you could say, or rules that we want to follow is that we don't like to talk about medical diagnosis or treatment or anything like that. We do like to, yes, we are going to naturally feel certain things. And I had a caller last week that, let's put it this way, and I felt horrible or bad for her in many ways because, she was going through a lot of pain and she was struggling to try to find somebody, and she was hoping that she would. And I hope for her that she is finding that, I felt that there was going to be a distance that she had to travel and so forth. But let me put it to you this way, it's not up to me to diagnose. And let's put it this way, I'm not here to treat, I'm not here to diagnose. Yes, we can look at things energetically. And yes, there are certain things that energy can really do change. And yes, there have been miracles out there. And I'm so grateful for all the people that have experienced their own miracles. And I know even within myself, I have looked at certain things differently. And that's the thing here. I was watching this other medium. And she was basically, there was a lady that was on there who ended up having let's put it this way, a head injury or something like that. And when I was listening to her, she basically told this lady, well, I'm sorry, but Spirit is telling me that you should be basically ignoring the doctors and finding your own cure because you know what is best. And okay. I was kind of I was pretty much on the floor at that point because of the fact that I was listening to this, and I'm going who are we, as psychics and mediums and so forth, to be able to sit there and say to somebody, for somebody to ignore their physician or their doctor. And I understand, and I get it, that Western medicine has its problems, and I totally get that. And yes, I do feel that there's a lot of things that, let's put it this way, Western medicine, what does it love to do? It loves to write prescriptions. It loves to do a lot of different things. It loves to give us treatments that we probably don't need, or over-medicating and so forth. And heaven knows, if you go into the United States, what do you see on the Lipitor ads and all those other ads out there? All the disclaimers at the bottom, and it's actually kind of funny, may cause anal leakage, may do this, whatever else that goes along with it, dry mouth and so forth and so forth. The list is longer almost than the benefits. So the thing is that, and I understand, where that comes from. But the thing is, is that to fix the physical, sometimes you do have to do something to create a remedy or whatever very quickly. Now, I am not saying, though, is that in a holistic perspective, you do have to look at many other things, too. It's not just the physical. You got to take a look at the mental and the spiritual as well. All of those things are part and parcel of a very whole aspect. Yes, maybe there is some remedy physically, but you can also help it by working with the spiritual too. Okay? So whatever you do, if your gut is telling you, like, oh, I think it's time for me to go see my doctor and to pay attention to their advice, then please do so. Okay? Like, don't just blindly to blindly disparage it or whatever just because of the fact that that a psychic or a medium has told us so. Okay? Statistically, let me put it to you this way. A good psychic or a medium is about 80%. Okay? And that's actually very good. And from what I've seen with my development classes and with other psychics and so forth, yeah, about 80% is actually pretty good. But we're not, and if anybody ever tells you 100%, well, then go see somebody else, okay? Because let me put it to you this way, nobody is always going to be 100%. There is no psychic out there that is that good, okay? Because you got to remember, we get this information in, but it still has to get processed through our mind, through our ego, and in turn, it's going to possibly get shifted, or it's going to get maybe twisted ever so slightly or whatever, so that this way maybe the message is not as pure as it should be. And the ego is that thing that's there to, it's there for a reason. Let's put it this way. Otherwise I wouldn't be able to talk to you if I didn't have an ego or an intellect. But everything still has to go through that filter. Okay, so like I said, whatever you can do, yes, pay attention to your doctor, but also take a look at other holistic aspects or roles too. And there are some wonderful people out there that do, let's say, for example, Reiki, or they do crystal healing or aromatherapy, and the list goes on and on. So, but whatever you do, look at it from a holistic perspective, okay? And work and see if you can work with your doctor on those types of therapies as well, because you never know. You may find that you may achieve that miracle within yourself too. So I guess I have another caller. So Roz, if you could bring through 940, or should I say Tiffany? I've been picking up on Betty Jane's nuances there. So anyway.
Hi, this is Tammy.
Hi, how are you? Tammy? How are you doing,
yes.
Tammy?
I'm
okay,
good.
So
Thanks for taking my call.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. So how can I help you today?
Well, I just have, I think with the full moon and everything, just experiencing energies from someone else. And even like on Sunday morning, that energy was released. It was just gone. And it even woke me up from my sleep. It was such a different lightness, that I hadn't been experiencing. And I was just hoping that you could shed some light on that for me, because I'm like, I don't know who, what, or this, or anything. What happened?
Yeah. Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. You're not, let's say, for example, you had your own unique experience, but you're not the only one that's been out there experiencing something, okay, over the past little while. And it seems to be kind of typical with a lot of people, though, that over the course of, let's call it about a week, maybe 10 days before the full moon, a lot of people actually have been feeling something kind of building up. Okay, so sometimes it becomes something that's a little bit more emotional. Sometimes it becomes, let's say, even a relationship or something like that with somebody else. Where all of a sudden it's just kind of like, a shifting, a release almost, a change in the dynamic of it. Okay, and that's what the full moon is doing, because, let's face it, it's a big gravitational body that circles our Earth, and it's going to affect our energetic system. It really is. But
it does.
But let's face it, even, and it's proven fact, if you take a look at any police service that is in the world, they'll always tell you, there's always more crime on a full moon.
I believe it.
Now, for you, I do, for some sort of reason, actually, the first thing that's actually coming to mind, though, is I am getting there's some sort of male figure around you. And I'm kind of, I'm feeling a male presence. Okay, so let's put it this way. I am feeling that there is something there Sorry, I'm just taking a moment here just to kind of feel this out a little bit more. But it feels like there's something that was going on in the past. Something triggered, from the past, but with the situation that that has been happening, it's almost as if that trigger has been going off again. Which is
how
very
far
weird.
into the past?
I almost actually I want to say into your youth. It almost feels like
Okay.
I almost want to say early teens, possibly late. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's no, I did have a shift in my life because of a male figure. That's my father, and he's on the other side.
Ah, okay. Maybe that's because there's something there. Like I said, it's almost like something that you were remembering or something like that is coming up, and therefore it's kind of making you feel either nostalgic or something like that. Sorry, I'm just kind of tuning into your dad here right now, and I'm kind of feeling almost as if Was he it almost feels like he was around his 60s or something like that when he passed? But there's
early 70s.
Okay, because it almost feels like there's I'm feeling something around my chest area, I almost want to say around my heart area or something like that. That just feels a little different. It feels funny to me. Interesting. So anyway, the thing is that it feels like he gave you something. And what I mean by giving you something, and maybe that trigger or whatever it was when you were a kid, it almost feels as if there was something that he gave you when you were a kid that for some sort of reason it's creating something has to be remembered or something has to be it's almost like a memento. I'm almost getting like a picture, like an actual old photograph or something like this, and there's something there where the two of you are possibly standing beside each other, or he's holding you in his arm, it's almost like he's holding you in his arms or something like that. Anyway, the biggest thing though is I think it is just honoring him a little bit right now. Okay, and by honoring I mean by actually just make mention remember him. Okay.
Okay.
When was the last time you because there's something about a gravestone or a grave site or something like that is coming up, and I don't know why that's coming up, but it's almost
I was just talking with a cousin of mine, and they told me that his gravestone is broken, so I was going to replace it.
Yes.
Should I replace it?
I think either that or repaired, one of the two. If you can do something like that, because for some sort of reason he's showing me that, and I don't know what. Obviously, maybe that's part of it. But when you're there, kind of reenact a little bit more. I guess you could say the service aspect. You know what I mean? Pray for him. And remember him. Light a candle for him or something like that, and put some flowers on his stone when everything is kind of done. I think what he's trying to say, too, is it doesn't have to be perfect.
Okay.
Okay, he's almost kind of... was he kind of a frugal guy? He didn't like... Yeah, because for some sort of reason, I'm kind of getting him kind of saying, don't spend too much money.
Yeah.
I don't know why that, but in other words, like, don't spend too much money on it, but just do what you can to, bring it back to normal, like some sort of normality again, sort of thing. Okay. So if you can do that, I think that would be very good, and that'll actually help to. And that's probably what it was that you were feeling. Okay.
What do you mean, feeling it? I mean, the heavy.
Well, in regards.
Okay.
Yes, because spirit, when it connects with you, and you got to remember too, is that when the full moon starts to happen, what it does is it actually helps to, I guess you could say, well, let's call it thin the veil or make the fog a little bit less foggy.
Okay.
So in other words, in essence, what I kind of mean by that, though, is that it makes it a little bit easier for spirit to connect with you. Okay, so in other words, your body has to do certain things to shift, I guess you could say, into a little bit of a higher frequency. And by frequency, it's kind of like you got to slow your brain waves down, and usually happens when a person is either a little bit tired or they're just more of a meditative type feel to things or whatever. So usually most people are in the beta range, in their waking hours. It's usually in about 30, 40 sort of hertz sort of thing. And then when we relax, it slows down to about 10 or 5, maybe even lower than that, even for that matter. So as the full moon was happening, what could have been happening there is that your brain waves were shifting a little bit due to the gravitational pull and all that fun stuff, that everything, all together. And in turn, it gave you a chance for your dad to connect with you. Okay, or to be able to just reach out a little bit, to be able to kind of give you these little feelings or tidbits or whatever, and that's probably what he wanted to do. He just wanted to connect with you. Okay? And he was trying to do it the best way that he could.
Okay, appreciate you enlightening me.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Anytime.
Okay, it's very, very interesting. Thank you.
You're very welcome. My pleasure. Okay, so...
Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure. So, like I said, we've had some wonderful sort of aspects to our development over the past little while, and I know that a lot of people have been, let's put it this way, we've been working. And there's been a lot of terms about, I guess you could say, enlightenment, awakening, going from 3D to 5D even, for that matter. And as far as I'm concerned, let's put it this way, I'm one of those, I guess you could say I'm one of those skeptical type psychics out there, or mediums. I'll always question, I'll always make certain that the information that I'm feeling or getting is correct. I've been getting I get a lot of confirmation from people, as during my readings and so forth from that. But the thing is, though, is like I was mentioning to our previous caller in some ways, is that, blind faith in certain things is not really necessary the best way to go about things sometimes. Always kind of question, always kind of ask, is this right for me? And your own internal GPS or guidance system is going to tell you one way or the other if it is right or if it is wrong. And let's face it, if I was to say to you right now, I want you to go out there and punch somebody in the nose, well, you're going to probably sit there and say, no, I don't want to do that. And so you should, because, why would you want to hurt somebody else? Why would you want to harm somebody else? Always question, the information that you get or the feelings that you get. There's a lot of psychics and there's a lot of mediums and inspirational teachers that let's put it this way, like we're here to try to help enlighten people, to bring people into, I guess you could say, a spiritual path and so forth. And for that, I am, like that's my aspect of service that I like to try to follow, because, hey, I'm here for service. I'm here to help people. But the thing is that I'm always going to question. I'm always going to run it through my system, I guess you could say, to feel whether or not does that feel right or does it feel wrong. If something resonates with you, make certain that you're paying attention to it then. Okay, and that's good, because what may resonate with you now may not resonate with you later. Like try to follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would do unto them, or they would do unto you. Yeah, that's it. But anyway, every major culture basically has that sort of, or that same sort of, I guess you could say, advice or whatever, and it really does apply. Like, how would you want somebody else to treat you if you don't want to treat them the same way back? So if you can, make certain that you do. So, where was I? I can't remember. So anyway, if you do have any questions or even if you just want to have a little bit of intellectual discourse on this, I'm more than happy to, let's put it this way, to talk to you about it, and maybe we can bounce things back and forth here. I picked up when I was in Lilydale, actually, the other weekend, because they had their opening weekend. And let's put it this way. It was a really great experience. I ended up picking up a couple of different decks, I guess you could say, out there. One of them was by, it's called the Soul's Journey Lesson Cards by James Van Praagh. Beautiful deck, actually. They're very nice. I really do enjoy them. Let me put it to you this way. The cardstock itself is actually, it's a nice thick cardstock, gilded edges. And you can feel that they got some substance in them, and let's put it this way, I do feel that they would last for quite a while. And there's a wonderful little book in there, like the little black book, as they so aptly call them. And let's face it, like it's a really nice deck. I have to say that they really put it together fairly well. Could there be a little bit more depth in regards to the meanings of the cards? Yes, absolutely. But the thing is, though, is that when you're dealing with oracle cards or tarot decks or whatever, the little black book is great to get you started. But definitely, dig a little deeper. Use your intuition when you're using them. And it's always easier to use it on somebody else than for yourself, that's for sure. So anyway, I believe we do have another caller, and that would be caller 940. So if Roz could bring that one through. Tiffany, please. Hello? Okay, maybe not. Maybe so. Okay, maybe not then. So while she's kind of looking at that or whatever, I'm just going to be discussing a couple more things. Once again, I do want to direct everyone to, if you can, to my website. I do work, like I said, as a hypnotist, so make certain that I am going to be, I'm just reading some of the notes here from Tiffany here, and that's great. And thank you very much. I appreciate that. For some sort of reason, my thing wasn't scrolling. And anyway, the thing is, though, is this. Please, I want to direct you over to my website of DennisJAnderson.com. Just because of the fact that, let's put it this way, I do have some interesting things that I am going to be posting on there fairly soon. I'm going to be putting up some products as well. I do create a little bit of some unique and different things, okay? So I do have some kind of, I kind of like some of the weird and wacky sort of spiritual tools out there. And a friend of mine, actually, she was just kind of, let's put it this way, clearing out some of her, I guess guess you could say, some of her inventory. And she had this one thing here. It's a barometer, actually. So I'm going to give out a little shout out here to Lynn Tucker. She's a wonderful lady, and so she had a bunch of these, what's called a spiritual barometer, I guess you could say, and it's actually kind of neat, it will make, I guess you could say, the liquid at the bottom of this unique device, I guess you could say, sort of squirrel up this tube into another part of it. It almost looks like a weird-shaped hourglass, and I'm going to be putting a few of those on my website as well, so that if anybody is interested, like I said, it's kind of a very unique sort of tool. I don't have very many of them, as I do have limited quantity, but it is kind of unique. And once again, if anybody is interested in calling in, everything east and west of the Rockies, you can give us a call at, I believe it's 713-955-0594. As well, feel free to connect with me at Dennis J. Anderson on Facebook, and I would be more than happy to connect with you on there as well. Because like what I'm actually been doing actually as an experiment over the past while, I've been kind of doing what's called an oracle card. Okay, like I've been putting out 3 blank cards, and they're blank cards. Like there's nothing written on them or anything like that. But psychically, what I am doing those is I am feeling a theme or whatever to those individual cards, and that's kind of the fun thing. Like it helps me to stretch my, I guess you could say, my psychic boundaries here a little bit, which is always kind of fun. I really do enjoy stretching myself. I really do enjoy connecting with other people that way. And once again, it's just something new and different that I am trying. So if you are interested in those, I guess you could say, the 3-card reading, I do have that on there. So feel free to connect with me on that. Okay? I would be very happy for you to do that. As well, too, if you are interested in being a guest on my show, I am more than happy to do an interview-type style, I guess you could say, with this. And let's put it this way. If you are interested, if you are a psychic or a medium, feel free to give me a call and leave me a message, and we'd be more than happy to, I guess you could say, I want to promote you, too. Sometimes us as psychic and mediums, we're the worst ones for promoting ourselves sometimes, because we don't want to impose ourselves upon anybody. But when I can have somebody on here and I can bring them out and share their gifts as well, feel free to drop me a line and email me, whichever, and I'd be more than willing to have you as a guest on the show. Maybe you have a product. Maybe you have a tarot deck or an oracle deck that you would like for me to take a look at and provide a review on. I'd be very interested, let's put it this way, in showing it out, and I would even put it on my website as well, so that this way, once again, I would be promoting you and your product. But it's also, like I said, I would give it an honest review. I'm not going to, mince words or anything like that. I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to make certain that you get an honest review of the product that you have. So, we do have another caller. 954 is the next caller, so if Tiffany, you could put that one through, that would be fantastic.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Dennis. This is Mary. I spoke to you not too long ago.
Okay.
I'm the lady that was having a health problem and still are. I just wanted to mention that I had gone to see a specialist in a well-known hospital, and I thought that this might be a very good, place for me to go. And as it turned out, it was kind of a waste of time because it was a lot of just questions about past history, which I could have probably checked off on a checklist earlier. And he spent most of his time typing in the information. And basically, what he did in the office was already done by the primary. It was pretty basic. And at the end of our visit, he referred me to someone else that is there in the same place. It was quite a distance from my home, and it was a very bad, nasty, rainy day and everything. And I was very disappointed that I took that route because I did not feel I got the professionalism I was expecting. But anyway, I'm back to square one, and the primary doctor I was working with, who really understood what was going on, I found out that he is opening his own practice at a distance, so he's not going to be in the same place, and someone else is taking his place with the person I'm not really that enthused with. But it was just a little update. The beat goes on. I continue to search, and I continue to work on the metaphysical and the holistic areas as well, trying to, pick up anything I can in the meantime. It's kind of a mouse chasing his tail again. I didn't want you to think that you were on the airwaves and no one was listening, because I've been listening and you had some very interesting things to say.
Well, I'm not too worried about that. I have a tendency to talk a lot anyway, so it's
well, that's
it's
great.
early.
It's great, because we like to hear that, and what you have to say is very interesting, because there are some psychics out there who will try to tell you that they have all the answers, that you don't really need medical or whatever, and if you have any sense at all, you're going to start in that area, at least to make sure that, nothing can be done.
Yes.
But anyway, I continue to search. I don't see at this point going out of the area right now, but I'm doing what I can to follow through on whatever. And just wanted to see if you pick up any other things.
I am still getting, let's put it this way, I am still getting some distance here, and I'm still kind of feeling, I guess you could say, that struggle that you have within you here, because even as I lay out a couple of the cards here for you, I am, let's put it this way, kind of still seeing you, like, taking a bit of a trip, and kind of getting things sorted out that way. The interesting thing is that I kind of got the Emperor card here as one of them, and let's put it this way: he's kind of the guy that let's face it, he's very thoughtful. He's very there can be a little bit of an ego with it, and I got a funny feeling it's probably related to a doctor or whatever. So you could be taking that trip to see another doctor, and I do feel that for you, and I think it would be very conducive for you in the long run. Like, I do feel that you are going to find an answer. It's just that, it's just not quite right yet, obviously, because of the...
Are you feeling a lot more testing that I have to go through, more specialists, more testing?
I do feel that there is a little bit more testing, yes, to go through. And I do feel like just within you sort of thing, like I don't want to diagnose, but like I was saying before, though, too, is that I am kind of feeling like there's a few areas that energetically just feel a little off, I guess you could say. So when I say that, though, is that it could be, like maybe there's one thing could be leading to another and so forth, or one thing could be affecting another.
Yeah, that does make sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking.
Now, the trick is, though, is what is the, I guess you could say, like, what is the starting point? Where does it all, the root cause of everything, exactly. And I do think that they are going to find it. It's just a matter of, like, what and how are they going to do it, and yes, keep, and like you said, though, you're still looking at the metaphysical and stuff like that, too, and that's great. I'm glad, actually, in a lot of ways, because I think a lot of this comes, or a lot of healing comes from state of mind, too. Like, if you do feel, let's put it this way, good about things, or, like, if you have a really good, and I know it's kind of tough right now for you, and I'm not going to deny that, Because let's face it, when you're dealing with pains that are on an ongoing basis, and you're kind of carrying that around, it's hard to feel perky and happy all the time when that does happen.
Right, and people do respond naturally, energetically to what you're feeling. So whether or not they understand or how it's coming off, maybe they don't realize. Like we see people, we don't realize what they're going through physically or mentally, so we just respond to the behavior or what have you.
Exactly.
I understand that.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But if you can, try to, put into practice or whatever the aspect of, I guess you could say, being grateful and so forth, for the things that you do have for right now. And keep good. That's awesome. And that's the biggest thing there, too. Because when
I got a couple other things are pending on the other side of things. I'm trying to get some assistance with a car repair. There may be some available, but not quite enough. I'm wondering if you see me getting my car fixed or possibly finding a way to get another one, something related to that.
Well, the troubles with the vehicle, let me put it to you this way. For some sort of reason, actually, I did just get an image of a, was it something like underneath the car? It almost feels like something like with the transmission or something like that.
Well, hopefully not. At this point, it's body work that it needs from an accident, and it wasn't caused.
I'm seeing it on a hoist for some sort of reason, and I'm just kind of getting where things are kind of worked on underneath or something like that. So either that or maybe there's an alignment or something like that that's getting done. I don't know. But the thing is, though, is that, let's put it this way, I do see it getting worked on, so I do see that there's, it's probably going to end up getting repaired, which is not a bad thing. Let's put it this way.
It's money. I'd be doing a lot of things with it or trading it in, but I can't do it at this time. It's drivable.
Okay.
It's drivable. And it has sentimental value. It's an older car, too. But whether or not I'll get, the means to do it, that's been,
I think on my mind. Yeah. And I think, actually, to be honest with you, that there is going to be some, like I said, I do feel that there is going to be a repair going through.
Okay.
And you're going to be back on the road again. I do feel that. The money is going to come through that way. So that this way, things are going to be on a positive note that way, I guess you could say. So,
I can drive it. It's just that I don't like going the way it looks, and it affects it.
I can understand. Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes it's like you got to look at it as, it gets you from point A to point B.
Yeah, anybody wants anything. It's like, well, it's better than walking and taking buses in the heat. So I look at it that way too.
That's very true, too. And what I'm going to do, too, actually, is I'm going to ask all the listeners that are out there or anybody that is in the future going to be listening to this, I guess you could say, this broadcast, through the recorded version, for them to ask you or for them to ask, I guess you could say, the higher divine universe, whatever you want to call it, for healing for you as well. And I will as well send my prayers to you as well. Let's put it this way, when you get a group of people with the common intent, I guess you could say.
Right, the intention, right. I agree.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've seen miracles in my own life with that.
Yeah. And I'm going to ask everybody, well, I'm asking them now, let's put it that way, for everybody to give you some healing and to send you some positive and loving light, I guess you could say, to surround you, so that this way you can get back on your feet, and this way you can actually, move forward in your life again. Sort of.
Sounds good to me. I'm ready. I got a lot going on in my head. Just do it physically,
And I understand that. And what you can do too is, if you can, try to do a little bit of meditation or something like that. I know that there's a lot of like YouTube videos and stuff like that, where they have the,
I
like
have a lot of
music.
spiritual music, gospel music, from the old-time spiritualist church music. And I have several stations I go to on the Internet that play all those old songs. They're very reminiscent from the days I spent at Lilydale and when I went to a traditional spiritualist church. And everything's changed right now because there's a different energy. There's a high energy and a high volume music and that type of thing. So it's not exactly the same soothing kind of music that I was used to. And so I go back and I listen to that.
Good.
And
that's
that
the
helps.
key there. Yeah. No, and that's the thing. But try to not focus on anything except for just, let's put it this way, like everything has to start with the breath. Okay, like with breathing and stuff like that, and like whether it be, let's say, even in the Eastern philosophies, if let's say, for those that have studied martial arts, for those that have studied yoga or anything like that, where does it all start? It starts with the breath, and if you can, while you're listening to the music, just focus on your breathing. Okay, and just kind of feel the energy, like the air kind of coming in, but visualize as well, like just beautiful, clean energy coming into you. And as you exhale, and you're relaxing, and you exhale peacefully, and I guess you could say with joy and whatever, but exhaling all the negative, all the toxicity, anything that is not making you well, anything like that. In with the good, out with the bad, and you do that, let's say even just before bed, that'll change quite a bit of who you are too. I'm not saying it's going to, permit a miracle, but it will make you feel.
Right, I agree. I forget to breathe sometimes. I'm just going round in circles.
We all do. And we have lost our ability to breathe. Like as people, as a civilization, because what do? We breathe with the chest. Because we do that. It's simpler, it's easier, but it's not a deep breath. So that's what I'm saying to people. Exactly. Yes, breathe with the stomach all the way deep down inside. And with that, I do thank you very much for...
Thank you very much.
For calling.
I hope you have a good week.
I will.
I hope you think of me if you go back to the Healing Stump at some point. I love that place.
I will. And as well, too, like I said, I am going to be asking everybody as well to send you some healing, too. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling in. Okay. Bye-bye.
And a good thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So, that's pretty much, I guess, our final caller of the evening. It's now 8:57, so we only got a couple more minutes here, and man, has time flown by ever so quickly. Either that or I just talk a whole lot. And let's put it this way, those that know me, yes, they understand that that's who I am. Sometimes I don't shut up. So anyway, what I want to do, though, is I just want to remind people, yes, I am going to be at a psychic fair over in St. Catharines next week on July 14th, 15th, and 16th. If you are interested, please feel free to join one of my, with myself as well as others at a psychic development or mediumship development class. I'll be at one at Happy Soul Toronto on July 12th. And then on the 13th, I will be at the Breakthrough Center in Brampton. So feel free to connect with me there as well. And as well, I am just going to try out one of these new cards, I guess you could say, that I managed to get from Lilydale. Like I said, if you get a chance to go there, try it out. It's a wonderful place to go, to connect, to feel, to be a part of, even if you just go to listen, like there's lots of talented mediums there. It's a fun place. It really is. It's a lot of fun to go, even if it's raining ever so a little bit there. There's no problem there. So for our oracle card for the last thing of the night, interesting. Freedom is the one from the James von Prague deck. So freedom, which basically says, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. And for that, everyone, I'm going to leave that with you because really, when you think about it, the choice is always yours. Always, and I get it. Life can be challenging at times, but it's up to you on how you take that challenge. So if you want to make it worse, well, then focus on the negative of it. But if you want to make it better, well, then, you know what, look at it as a learning thing, as a lesson, as whatever. But you have the freedom to be able to sit there and say yes or no, and we are very powerful. You just have to realize it within yourself just how powerful you are. Okay? So, like I said, on that note, I am pretty much, I guess, done for the evening, and thank you very much. It has been a very fast hour, and thank you very much for joining me tonight, and I hope to see you again, or hear you again, next week. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.
Okay, Kevin, for the grand prize of $1 million. What color is the White House?
I know this.
5 seconds.
Oh, switching to Geico could save you a bunch of money on car insurance?
Okay. Judges? That's true, Kevin. They'll allow it. Congratulations. You're a winner.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.